what I was thinking.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
Hey, you know what? I've got this water, and we've got, we've got this red version. We got a red bottle, and we got a David Beckham version here.
Oh my God.
Fluent Jr. Fluent Jr. I need a bottle of water.
Tomas. Tomas.
Let me start the show by getting all tangled up in my chair here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to know what's going on down here. Let me start the show. I keep it.
I was thinking when I saw that, my first question is, do we have to open up negotiations? Because my contract is up after the season. So, to win the championship, Tone, I mean, that's kind of a big deal. So, and do negotiations have to open back up again? I mean, I know that you under contract for like another couple more years, Tone.
No. I'm on a year to year.
Oh, okay. So this is not a 4 or 5 year deal.
I learned from Jordan. Oh, here's the kid himself. What's up, Fluent? We're just talking about your weekend.
Yeah.
It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
5-0. Let me ask you a question. Unc, you know me. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna turn these over so he can hear you as well. Based on what you know about me as a player, what do you think Fluent Jr. here dominated this weekend with?
Cracking the long ball.
Would you be surprised if I told you everybody and their mother praised the defensive player of the weekend?
Stop playing. Are you kidding me?
Steals, blocks, tips.
Do we got a young? Oh, okay, that's what I'm talking about. We got somebody on both sides of the ball.
A defender and a passer.
So we don't have a ball hog like his father.
That ain't my son.
So we don't have a ball hog like his father who wants to shoot the ball every time it touches hands. We don't have
everything that I didn't do. That's what he excels at. So I don't know. He got that from his mama.
That's what I'm talking about. My dude gets off the peel and he plays defense. Get your father.
Lockdown.
I love it.
Defense. That's why.
One more time, Tone.
So easily.
Tell him. Go ahead.
He doesn't play good defense. That's why I could score on him so easily.
Oh.
Okay, good night. I know you're not going to bed, but
I love it. My boy drop his ass. He get his feet moving. He get his hands busy. Unlike his father, who the ball is like stick 'em to his hands. As soon as the ball touches Tone's hands, it's going up. Just know that.
Let me say this though, as all jokes aside, because the next phase of his development that I'm going to be focused on is going to be his shooting, which you've already seen clips. He can score, right?
Yep.
If he can shoot the ball like me, with what he does already instinctively, defensively, the steals, the ball handling, the passing.
Yeah.
What up, Ticket? No excuses tonight. What? Huh?
No
Is that something I don't know? I don't know, Ticket. I need more. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so shout out to Fluent Jr. And the Warriors, which is fitting that he left the Mavs last year and joined the Warriors because number 30. One of the refs said he looked like a little baby Curry out there. I was like, really? It's like, damn. I don't think you've seen that defense from Curry. All right, we have 1,000,001 things to go over. How you doing?
Good, Tone. Good. I'm better than I was last week. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I knew last week was an issue. Monday, some people missed you on TikTok. They were reaching out like, where's Jay? He's not doing his NBA. Good morning, NBA. Is that what it's called? Good morning, NBA?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Good morning, NBA.
You just made the list.
I was up north. I was up north with my kid, on over the weekend. So and plus I was a little bit under the weather, but I'm good now. I'm straight. I'm straight.
We start with some random trivia.
Yeah.
So you have three choices. You can have literature / languages, major sports, NBA.
Well, in basketball's in the blood. I did study English in college, so I'm intrigued by that. Tone, I'm gonna take literature for 200, please.
The world has thousands of languages.
Yes, they do.
The top 5 spoken languages in the world are
English.
English is 1.
Mandarin.
Mandarin is 2.
Spanish.
Spanish is 4.
English, Mandarin, Spanish. What do Indians speak? I'm sorry.
I'll tell you if you want, because it is Hindi.
Yeah, Hindi. That's Hindi.
That is 3. So you've got English, Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish. You're missing number 5.
It's not French. Maybe it is French, Tone. I'm gonna go with French. It is French. Okay.
5 for 5.
All right.
Yes.
No.
Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, French. You have earned the bonus round of the basketball question, which I think you're going to get maybe very easily. 4 players in the history of the NBA. 4 players in the history of the NBA have scored 100 40-plus point games. So 4 players in NBA history have had 100 or more 40-plus games. Who are they?
100 or more 40-plus games. Chamberlain is at the top of that list.
Correct.
After Chamberlain, I'm going to say Jordan. After Jordan, I'm going to say it's not Bryant, because Bryant doesn't have 100. Well, wait a minute. Yes, he does. I'm going to say Bryant too.
Kobe.
Yes, sir. Bryant. And number 4, 100. Oh, James Harden.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Just like 102. He just cracked it.
Wow.
Yes, okay. See, I wasn't going to do the third one, but now I think I want to stump you on one. Who's next? That's actually a great question, Mark Quavion. Who's the next?
Who's the next one to do it?
Who's the next one, do you think, to get to 100 points?
Sorry.
140. 100 points. Excuse me. Who's no LeBron? Who's the next one to get to 100 or more 40-plus games?
So who is a bucket getter in today's game? So I think it could be Wemby.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it could be Wemby. Let's see. Who is next? Damian Lillard is not in. I don't think he's in that category. He might be, though. It might be Damian Lillard. That's active today. Yeah, it might. But I don't think Damian Lillard is going to score that many more. I don't think Joel Embiid's going to be around long enough to do it. I don't think KD's going to hold up long enough to score. I think KD's got like 50 or 60. I'm going to say
Kevin Durant has 70.
Does he?
He has 70, yes, but I still don't. I think I agree, though. I don't know that he's going to be around enough to get another 30.
No, I don't think he's going to be around long enough.
On the active, you have LeBron at 77.
Nope.
Durant at 70.
Nope.
Curry at 68.
Nope.
Lillard at 59.
No.
Giannis at 53.
Can Giannis get? Well, it took Giannis this much time to get
to 53. Yeah,
to get to 53.
Westbrook has 50. Embiid has 48.
I don't think we met him yet, Tone. Maybe it's Wemby. Maybe. And if it's not Wemby, then we haven't met him yet.
I think you might be right.
I don't think we met him yet.
I think you might be right. Will Chamberlain 271 is just like that's insane. That's insane. All right, let's get to basketball today.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a bunch of stuff that I wanted to go over, but I'm going to start with another topic, and then I'm going to get to because we've got the awards, right? We're at the quarter mark, so there's like who's leading in the MVP ladder and all those things, and I definitely want to get to that. However, if it's in the title, I feel like we got to start with what's in the title. I know a lot of shows they save it to the end, and I'm like, no, let's do it. So right to it, Bronny James, the son of
LeBron James,
would likely, I love how they say likely, likely be included in any deal involving LeBron James. So it's a two-part question. One, what's the likelihood that LeBron actually gets traded?
0.
And two, if that were to happen, is Bronny like, does he have to be part of the deal? And then 3, who would he go to?
So number one, James is still the moneymaker in Los Angeles. He's still the name on the moniker. So as up and down as the Lakers have been, I mean, he's definitely the main attraction still. So they're not going to come off of that. That's number one. Number two, one of the main reasons why he stayed in school, I mean, one of the main reasons why he came to the NBA was because his father told him to. If his father would have told him to go back to school, he would have went back to school. I'm confident in that. And
I agree, yeah.
If he's going to be in the NBA, he's going to be in the NBA under the tutelage of his father. That's why his father wanted him where he had him. Because again, if he's not going to be in school, he might as well be around me. So where would be a good place? Well, if we're being honest about this whole thing, the family's in Los Angeles. So pick up the telephone, just for hypotheticals. Pick up the telephone. We're not moving to Detroit. We're not moving to New York. We're not moving to Minnesota. We're not moving to any of those teams. We're not moving to any of those cities. So worst case scenario, pick up the telephone and move right down the hall to the Clippers. They'll give you whatever you want for James. Whatever you want for him, they'll do it. No doubt.
LeBron to the Clippers. You know, that I really like that. The NBA's biggest loser on the biggest losing team. That's fantastic. Let me be very clear, and I'm joking. Yep. And I've said this many times. LeBron James is not getting traded from the Lakers.
No.
LeBron James, sorry, Laker fans. Like when I say Laker fans, I want to be very, very clear. And this is respectful. Laker fans. Not LeBron fans who a couple of years ago when he signed with the Lakers became Laker fans.
Those are bandwagon fans. No,
I'm talking to you, light out. And, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about actual guys like me who, whether they're 13 wins or 70 wins, right, we ride with our Lakers. Notice I've never done a video. Like I did for the Bears where I said, what would it take to divorce your favorite football team after 40 years? You'll never see me do that with the Lakers. Someone actually asked the kids on my basketball team. We were having this conversation yesterday because before practice we do film study and we watch the previous game and break down the tape and do all that kind of stuff. Although last night we were celebrating the win and I let them have I probably shouldn't say this. We had cupcakes and brownies. We had a little something. They earned it. They earned it. You don't get to go out and party the night of we did in high school and stuff.
Right.
College. So that being said, one of them said to me, he said, I saw your video, right? They follow me on TikTok and they say, I saw your video about the Bears and, getting a divorce. Are you really going to leave your team? Come join me. I'm an Eagles fan. Come join me. I'm a this fan. I'm a that fan. And they said, hey, so who are your favorite teams? And I said, well, in order of sports as well, it's the Lakers, the Bears. I say the Dodgers because that's the only team I've ever followed in baseball, even though I don't follow baseball that much.
Right.
And I said, so I would probably, maybe it's the Rams. Maybe it's the Chargers, if I leave Chicago, because just to keep it consistent and just have all my teams in LA. And I said, would you ever leave the Lakers? And I looked at them like, I gave them this crazy look. And the one kid says, come on, gun to your head. You have to pick another team or die. I'm like, then it was nice knowing you. I hope you guys bring flowers to my funeral. And they're like, really? I'm like, I go, that's not one. I cannot change that. So what I was saying, he's not getting traded. Sorry, Laker fans that don't want him there anymore. He's not getting traded.
Nope.
He's going to play 2 more years this year. And I believe, no, when can when can Bryce? Is Bryce the year after?
Bryce graduates high school this year.
So he can't get drafted next year.
No, I think he's out. I think he's out after this year.
Because what I had thought was he's going to play that first season of Bryce and then retire and take, because it coincides. Bryce's first year in the NBA would coincide. The following year would be the first year that Vegas is. They said that the expansion team will be there.
Yep.
So I think not him. When we say he's going to be the owner, let's be very, very clear. LeBron James has nowhere near the amount of money to buy an NBA.
I just want to make sure that let's get to the bottom of that right now, just so you guys know what it costs to have an NBA team. Just so we know, just because you got $1 billion does not mean that you can buy an NBA team. That does not mean that at all. No, because that's like saying that just because I got $100,000, I'm gonna take $100,000 and buy a $100,000 house. No, that's not the way that works. You got operating costs. You got the arena. You got all of that stuff that you have to deal with. Let's be clear. Okay, James says he wants to own a team. This isn't what it was in 2012 when Jordan put up bread to own the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, Jordan was the majority owner. He wasn't Mark Cuban. That's not the way that worked. No, he wasn't Mark Cuban, who just took all his money and outright bought the Dallas Mavericks like Mark Cuban did. No, that's not what Jordan did. No, and that's not what James is going to be doing.
The current price tag, the current price tag for a new NBA franchise, for an expansion club. Any ideas how much?
For an expansion club, I think the going rate is about $1.5 billion, maybe 2.
You wish. $7 billion.
Nah, he ain't got that.
$7 billion for a NBA expansion club. That's what it's going to be for Seattle and Vegas, which we're assuming it's those two, right?
Sure.
So check this out. So $7 billion. Here's the funny part. Let's say it was $1 billion. Let's say it was $1 billion. His net worth is $1 billion. His net worth doesn't mean he has $1 billion in hand.
No.
It means everything he has, cash, houses, cars, land, property, investments, like his net, everything. Okay. So he would literally have to take everything he owns. And I know it doesn't work like this. Okay. I get it. But just hear me out. Basically say, here's everything I have and own. I'm going to live in a cardboard box out on the street because I got nothing. All my clothes, all my jewelry is $1 billion. And that's if the team was $1 billion.
By the way,
it's 7. So he has about enough money / borrowing capital to get 1/14. I'm going to give him credit and say he could raise $500 million. 1/14 of a team,
which means that he's not even going to be a majority owner.
He's not the majority owner. That's right.
Yeah, which means he's not going to be a majority owner. No, that's not all.
Do you know what 1/14 is?
Well, you figure you figure 7 billion. 10% of that is 700 million.
Right.
So
500 million.
Right.
At 500 million, which is half of his net worth. That's 7%.
500 million. 7%.
That's why you see most players usually they get a 1% stake. Like if you remember Jay-Z's an owner of the Brooklyn Nets.
No, he wasn't.
He had a 1% stake.
He was a figurehead. That's what he was. Lady Eloise. That's who he was.
That's what LeBron would be.
Yes.
That's my thought was he's going to play with the Lakers until they get Bryce and Bronny, and then kind of be part of the ownership group. Now again, he might be the face, and they might say, "Hey, you put in 500 for 7%. We're going to double that and make you a 15% shareholder. That's kind of part of your pay, salary, whatever. And should you stay 3 years, we bump that up to 20, right? So that you have a voice, you have probably a seat on the board, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because, we know what you want to do. Someone's going to come in from, listen, I'm telling you I'm being very honest with it, from Saudi. There's a relationship there already, right, and say, hey, we're going to fund the 5 billion. You figure out the other 2.
Which is, that's going to be, I mean, it's really difficult to get $2 billion. I think that's going to be hard to do, but it's James, and he does have a lot of collateral. So when you got a lot of collateral, you can get some banks to get behind, what it is you're doing. That part I won't argue. However, I don't think that he understands what exactly goes into owning a basketball team and what you are responsible for in the NBA. You are responsible for travel. You are responsible for maintenance. You got to pay all of these people. This isn't just what it looks like on the surface, where, I mean, it doesn't look like it's not what it is on the surface, where it's, fancy uniforms and guys got endorsements. No, this big building that these guys play in, you're responsible for keeping the lights on in this place. The place being clean.
Sessions.
Yes.
Security.
You got to pay those people. Security, you have to pay those people. When this building, after these 18,000 people leave here and this building has to get cleaned up, you got to pay people for that. When they break down the floor and they have other events going on in here, you got to pay for that. That's not something that just is being put on other people. No, that's all you. You are responsible for that. So I think it's something that sounds good, but ultimately, I don't think that it's something that he really understands what it is and wants to get into. I mean, Jordan just sold his stake in the Charlotte Hornets, and I think he sold his stake for something like not 2 billion.
No, it was 3 point something billion, but he kept a small percentage. But but that was a great investment for him because
100%.
He put in 800 million or 700 million.
Right.
He put in significantly less than what he got out of it, and that was a franchise that didn't succeed, and everyone wants to blame him for it not succeeding.
Sure.
Okay, but I think we all agree it was a business decision, and it turned out to be from a business standpoint, it was great. You know me, I don't care. All right. Like, do I want to have a winning franchise and success? Like, if I'm running the team, 100%. And he had a lot to say, but most great players are horrible GMs. There's going to be exceptions, but most great players, Larry Bird comes to mind. Yeah. Most great, like, legendary players stink. And I always use, and I've used this with you before too, Wayne Gretzky. He tried to coach the Phoenix Coyotes, and he's like, just do this. And they're like, we can't. And he goes, no. What do you mean? And he goes, how did you do it? He goes, I don't know. I just did it.
Right. It's hard, as simple as it looks.
Yeah. And you see a player with a skill set, and you're like, well, if they have my heart and my determination with that skill set that I see, because he probably saw guys who had more skill set than him, and he's like, they're going to be great. The only problem is, they don't have that heart or that will or that maniacal, like, taking it personal drive, right? Like, how many people actually had that in NBA history? What, 2, 3 people?
Yes. Tony, can I address something real quick from TGK PSP? The only reason why you're saying that because you heard that from somebody. You didn't think that 2 months ago that Jordan on the Wizards was better than James. You heard that from somebody, and all of a sudden now it's is Jordan better? Is 40-year-old Jordan better? The out of shape, who didn't really take care of his body, smoking cigars and drinking beers with a little bit of a pot belly, 40-year-old Michael Jordan, is he better than LeBron James, 39-year-old today? No, he is not. That's not going on. No, I'm not going to buy that. You're just saying that because you heard that from somebody and it sounds good and you just want to argue. That's it.
I think people are saying it more so because when you look at the numbers, because people do math skip ball.
Yes, they do.
Shout out to Ox. When you look at the numbers and adjust for pace, it's actually closer than most people make it seem. However,
I don't think he washes him. No, I don't think that. I don't think James is clearly better than Jordan. No, I don't think that.
Let's be very, very clear. We're talking about an MJ that was on a significant. We did this the other day with Jalen. We looked at the rosters.
Oh, that Washington Wizards team was garbage.
There was no AD on that team.
They were terrible.
LeBron clearly better athletically today than Jordan. And Jordan, people forget, and this isn't an excuse, But Jordan was hurt. He was playing on one leg. Like he was not.
Bad knee.
There was no. He hadn't played for 3 years. He was out of shape. He did smoke cigars and drink booze, and he was injured. And that's the crazy part is he still put up pretty good numbers.
Still awesome. I think he was 22, 20 a game. Yeah, I think he was 20 a game. After not playing for he came back that second year. Yeah. So that was the last year that he played. So
and he was coming back. He was making $1 million that he was donating to 911 relief. He was really playing for the ownership stake.
Sure.
Like to be very clear, that was the deal. Whereas LeBron, well, we were talking about, where's he going to be? Where are the Lakers going to be seated? Do they have a shot at a championship? If they don't face if they don't face Denver in the playoffs early on, how deep can they go? We were not having that conversation about Jordan and the Bulls. Jordan and the Wizards. I said Bulls are never going to happen.
First of all, to those of you guys who don't even know, because you just want to, you just want to, and Marquavian, whatever your name is, that stat that you just brought up. So I'd like you to keep going, and while you keep going on your offensive and defensive rating, just so you know, Larry Bird has a higher defensive rating than Scottie Pippen for his career. I just want to put that on your mind. Now,
Larry Bird was a very good defender.
Yes, Larry Bird was a great defender, but he has a higher defensive rating than Scottie Pippen. Marquavian, you stay talking to me like you really want this smoke with me. You don't. You think you do, my man. You don't.
Let us get through our topics.
You don't.
We're ending at 9:30.
You don't want this smoke with me.
If you want, we will send out the link. We super chat, which is more important.
Yes,
Bam.
we will. We'll actually send it to you. You don't want this smoke
with
me.
We will send the link. Sports PSP.
You get around your cronies when we're on the panel, and you run your mouth with them. I dare you to come up here. I'm not asking you. Tone is going to send the link out. I dare you to come up here. I dare you. You don't want this smoke with me. You don't.
We've always talked about this. You know how many people I've sent the link to who say they were going to battle me and they never show up. At least he's in the chat. Those guys are even afraid to come in the chat. So shout out that you're still in the chat. Sports PSP, a friend of the shows, sends a super chat and says, should Aaron Rodgers retire?
I think he should have been retired, to be honest with you, Tom. Everybody saw that he was going to the Jets, who will break your heart every time, every possible chance that they get.
Their roster always looks so good, except for the quarterback. You're like, oh, they got Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, they didn't get that Aaron Rodgers. They got this Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should retire because I know what he's actually going to do.
Yeah.
Which is he's going to go sign with the Minnesota Vikings.
You think he's done? You don't think he's done, Tone?
No, that's what Brett Favre did. He's just following everything Brett Favre did. Just think about it. Just think about his career. Brett Favre starts in Atlanta.
Yep.
Right. Goes to Green Bay. Gets the starting job. Plays wonderfully, I guess you could say. Wins a Super Bowl.
Yep.
They draft a younger guy to replace him. He acts like a child. Right. Has a hissy fit. Won't talk to him. Won't groom him. And they say, then hit the bricks. And he walks, and they will not let it. They block everything that they can do to stop him from going to any NFC team. He signs with the Jets. He goes to the Jets. That doesn't work. He goes to Minnesota because he wants to play in a divisional team and get back the Packers. So his replacement is Aaron Rodgers, who takes over after Brett Favre has his hissy fit and storms out the door.
Which, by the way, keep going, Tone, because I don't want you to stop there. But just so you guys know, Aaron Rodgers had been sitting behind Brett Favre at that point for 4 seasons. That's so we clear. But keep going, Tone. I'm sorry.
So Aaron Rodgers follows Brett Favre's footsteps where he has early success, wins an early Super Bowl thanks to his defense, and then is MVP multiple times, puts up a bunch of stats, but never goes to the Super Bowl again. Then they draft a young replacement in Jordan Love. Sure. He doesn't groom him. He treats him like ass. He makes Jordan Love sit behind him for a few years, and then he has a hissy fit and storms out the door. And where does he end up? Oh, with the Jets. That doesn't work out. He's literally followed everything Brett Favre has done. So I just think,
like it's all.
And it's not like, I know that they have a young quarterback. I know they have a young quarterback in Minnesota that everyone says he's going to be the guy. But if they don't beat, and I don't think they will, if they don't beat Detroit, I really think Detroit, it's destiny for Detroit. I think they finally get.
So if they don't win it this year, is that it for Detroit?
No, I think they run it back. I think it depends how they lose. But I know Minnesota. isn't going to make it. And so Minnesota says, oh, we're a quarterback away. Look at Justin Jefferson, the emergence of Jordan Addison. We've got Aaron Jones. We've got a pretty good defense. TJ Hawkins. If we get we love Sam Darnold. He's played great this year, but man, it's Aaron Rodgers. Can he have one last like Peyton Manning in Denver? They might make that push. But they don't have the defense ever to. So Aaron Rodgers, yes, he should have retired the first day he was drafted and never come to Green Bay. That's a little selfish. He should have gone to San Francisco. I think you would have liked him there. Speaking of football and Brett Favre.
Since we on that subject, Tom?
Do you know who this gentleman is right here standing in front of Brett Favre?
That is the great Mark Gastineau. Yes,
that is impressive. That is very impressive. Let me show you a little video of their interaction. Have you seen this by chance?
No, I have not.
Oh, and then let me share it.
Enlighten me, please, Tom. What's the deal?
Right. How you doing?
Did you notice the handshake or lack thereof? Let me send it back. Brett puts out his hand to shake it.
You tell me met a long time ago. At least I saw you.
Notice there was no reciprocation from Mark. Okay, keep going.
Right. How you doing? When you fell down for him. I'm going to get my sack back. I'm going to get my sack back, dude.
You probably would hurt me.
Well, I don't care. You hurt me. You hurt me. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You really hurt me. You hurt me, Brett.
We got to get back to this, Brett. I'm sorry.
What he's talking about, for those who don't know, and you could feel the pain. You could feel. Could you not feel the pain in his voice?
Yes.
Michael Strahan had half a sack less than Mark's single season sack record. Gastineau, I always say his last name wrong. That's why I said I just call him Mark, because I can't say last names. So he was half a sack shy. One of the final plays of the game, Giants versus Packers. Strahan comes through the line, and Brett Favre takes a dive. He takes a dive. There's no ifs, ands, or whats. He took a dive and laid down for Michael Strahan, and you can even hear them like, "Oh yeah, he just laid down." And no one wanted him to get that more than Brett Favre. The commentators are saying this at the time, and they all celebrated. And Brett was the first one to congratulate him, and blah 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 blah. What they didn't realize, I think, Brett Favre specifically, was here's a guy who's not a millionaire, who's not this, I don't even know if Mark Gastineau is a Hall of Famer. I'd have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head. But you took away the one thing. Now, people have since passed that. I believe J.J. Watt and another have passed even Michael Strahan's record. But that being said, that was his thing. That was his thing. And to watch someone just give away a record that you worked so hard for, that you earned, to just give away to someone else, that man is hurt. That man is hurt, and you know what? I hope he sacks Brett. In fact, forget Mike Tyson and Jake Paul round 2. I think we need to get these two in the ring.
Tony, he was not happy about that, man. He wasn't, because
he wasn't. Nor should he be.
I mean, to talk about how difficult it is. I think that season, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 22 sacks. It was either 22 or 23 and
a half. Yeah.
22 and a half sacks for the season. Okay, that's a sack a game on average. On average, that's a sack a game. That's hard as hell to do. Right? That is hard as hell to do. If I don't care who you are.
That's over a sack a game.
You figure 20. You figure
they only played 16 games, maybe 15 even when he started.
It was 16 games, right? So 16 games. You got
almost, 1.5 a game.
Yeah. At least a sack on average. At least a sack a game on average. At least one. And we're talking about, Tone, some games 3 sacks, some games 4, some games 2 sacks. But on average, I'm getting a sack a game.
Yeah.
And for Brett Favre to lay down for Michael Strahan, considering Mark Gastineau playing for the Jets, how hard he had to work, considering what the offensive linemen were back then, what the rules were, how rough it was, holding. He was one of the best pass rushers in the game. One of the best pass rushers that the NFL had ever seen. And I can understand his pain there. I could. Yeah, I can get that. I could definitely get with that.
back to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any? Do we have any disagreement? He should be leading in MVP voting, and
yes, we do.
There's the runners that currently are SGA and Giannis.
Yep, 100%.
Seems pretty legit.
100%. We have disagreement that he should not be leading in MVP votes. No, because
Jokic should not.
So what are we doing now, Tone? So we're taking winning off the table. Winning doesn't matter anymore.
Oh,
is that what we're doing? So winning is out. So if the season ended today, right? If the season ended today, we've given over the last 5 years the league MVP to a 6th and a 7th seed. So you're telling me that winning doesn't matter. All you're telling me is that the guy who statistically had the best season, he's the league MVP. So the criteria for league MVP no longer means winning. No longer means how valuable you are to your team's success. That doesn't matter anymore. What essentially what you're telling me is whoever had the best statistical season, that's the most valuable player. So what I think we got to do is I think we got to change the MVP. We got to change the name because it's not the MVP. No, it's not. What it is yes, that's what it is. So we got to change the name from MVP to the most outstanding player because the most valuable player to his team's success. If I'm watching SGA, and I think Jason Tatum is better than him. But as of today, I feel like SGA is affecting winning more than Jason Tatum on that Boston Celtic team. I feel like Giannis, Tone, you and I had this conversation 3 weeks ago when they were second to last in the Eastern Conference. And I'm like, they're going to turn this around. They have to turn this around because there's no way that this team is this bad. Well, as of today, the Milwaukee Bucks, they're the 6th seed, right? They're the 6th seed, and they're moving up. But I can't give Giannis the league MVP off the strength that, 6 seeds? No, man. You got to win. Winning matters to me. And I don't care about the logic that you're playing in a tougher conference. This isn't college football where we only play certain teams. No, everybody plays everybody. Everybody plays everybody. Half of us, of our 82 games, of our 82 games with Milwaukee, I think 40 of them, not 40 of them, I take that back. They play 40 games at home, but they played the Western Conference. Of those 15 teams, 30 of those games are against the Western Conference. So that's almost half our season that we playing against Western Conference teams. Now, whether we play them spread out or not, we still playing these Western Conference teams. However we fare against them, that's one thing. But the idea that a 6 and a 7 seed, no. And I think that what we've gotten away from is we've gotten away from how important you are to your team's success. And I think that
I think people don't care about winning anymore. I was literally scrolling through TikTok before we came live, and there was a guy doing a live who said, right, here's my list, and like LeBron 1, Jordan 2, Kareem, had his list, and his criteria was, I don't know, impact on the game, regular season stats, not even playoff stats. And he said, winning's not important to me. Winning's not important to me. And so, however, Teddy Hart, appreciate you. We'll get to your other one in a second. He has 2 super chats, but we're starting with this one. SGA should be working on his 2nd straight MVP, not losing it again, especially to a 7th seed guy. So
not the 7th seed guy, but last year was legit. Last year, I had no problem with last year.
You don't think that they've got Jokic up there basically because, one, what he's doing statistically is historic, better than all his other MVP seasons, and they're maybe projecting, thinking they'll get there, they'll get better, they'll make a trade, they'll do something.
Well, they haven't.
Should it be harder to win your 4th? Should it be harder to win your 2nd, your 3rd, your 4th, your 5th?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I think they 3 games, Tone, out the 3 spot, something like that. But and I feel like they could move up at some point, sure. Okay. But he's in the conversation for one reason and one reason only, Tone. He's the best player in the game. That's why. There's no other reason why he should be in the conversation except the fact that he's the best player in the game. And what he's doing, because we have seen the best players in the game be at the top of the leaderboard in MVP races. Why have we seen them? Because they're the best players in the game. That's why. That's why we saw James Harden in 2018, 2019, 2017, 2018, 2019. That's why we saw Giannis. That's why we saw James. That's why we saw KD. That's why we saw Curry. That's why we saw these guys, because at some point, not Curry, I mean Joker, because they were the best players in the game. Joker, at the 7th seed, I'm having a difficult time with him being the league MVP off the strength that he's the most valuable to his team's success. No, he's not.
Would you be opposed to them saying, starting this season, whatever season it was, the best player in the game, as voted on by whoever, that is who gets the most valuable player award?
At least we would have some standard, Tone. I mean, in the NFL, what's the league MVP in your estimation, Tone?
The best quarterback.
I think it's the best player on the best team.
It's the best, but it's not. It's the best quarterback. It's always, like, with rare exceptions, go back and look. It's the quarterback 90% of the time, and it's like, and it's not the quarterback on the best teams. Like, if quarterback throws for 5,000 yards, he's winning the MVP. It doesn't matter what anybody does. Like, I think you needed running back to rush for like 2,000 yards to win an MVP.
Adrian Peterson did it.
Let me put it this way. Jerry Rice, who is arguably the greatest football player ever, has how many MVPs?
0.
How many wide receivers have MVPs?
I think 1.
0.
Okay.
How many kickers have an MVP?
0.
1. 1982 or 83 Raiders kicker, whatever. You have a kicker winning an MVP and never having a wide receiver. So that's, I don't even like theirs. But anyways,
the point I was making, Tone, is I feel like in the NFL, it's the best player on the best team. Even though let's just say it's the quarterback. Let's just say it's the quarterback, sure. And I feel like in pro baseball, it's the best player in the league. Doesn't matter who it is.
That I agree with. Baseball,
it doesn't matter. He could be on the Cincinnati Reds, and they could be in 5th place, and they don't make the playoffs. I watched Alex Rodriguez win the league MVP, and the Texans the Texas Rangers was at the bottom of the league. It's the best player in the league in baseball. So I'd like for us to actually have a criteria in the NBA. If it's going to be,
I don't even care what it is, as long as there is a criteria.
Yes,
you can. 100%. Is rookie of the year? Is your rookie of the year Jared McCain?
It looks like it, Tone. I had Zach Edey before the season started, but this kid has been really good. He has been. This kid has been really, really good, Tone. I initially thought, like, why are they drafting him? They already got Maxey. Why are they drafting this kid? Only to find out that him and Maxey work really well together. They do. They work really well together in the backcourt. Like, he's a really good scorer. He can play off Maxey really well. Maxey gets downhill with the best of them, draw and kick. And the other way around, too. Maxey plays off of him really well. So this thing actually works. I thought I was married to the idea that he was going to be the guy with the ball in his hands, but thinking to myself when I watched them that, maybe this could work with these two guys in the backcourt. Maybe.
Your favorite. I know how much you love this one. Defensive Player of the Year, as I called it, Victor Wembanyama. And I told you, it's all narrative. It's all narrative.
All it is, Tone.
I know you disagree. I know you disagree. So far, Dyson Daniels and Jaren Jackson Jr. are the runners-up to Wembanyama.
Jaren Jackson.
Any one of those guys you had, I think, didn't you have?
I had Evan Mobley winning it.
Evan Mobley.
Yeah, I had Evan Mobley winning it, and it's 100% narrative, because what happens? This is exactly what's going to happen, Tone. This guy in year 2 is going to win the Defensive Player of the Year, and now it's going to basically not define. It's going to confirm what everybody said about him. We said he was a great defensive player. So then now what's next? What's next, Tone, is now he's got to win the league MVP. So now that's got to start up. Once the league MVP starts and then he wins that, we told you that this guy was awesome. So then what's after the league MVP? Now he's got to start winning, Tone. And guess what happens when he doesn't win? This guy is a bum. He's not as good as we thought he was. And now you guys are going to tear him down. That's what's going to ultimately happen with him.
Oh, good. Let's if he plays that long to go through that whole scenario, then awesome for him. 6th man of the year.
I love that. Yeah.
That you agree with this one?
Yes, I did. I originally thought that it was Buddy Hield, and then Buddy Hield kind of like blew a tire. in the 100-mile dash and the 100-yard dash.
I saw this. You know those things they do with the Cowboys, where it's like season starts, Super Bowl talk. They start off hot. Everyone says how great they are. They implode and stink, and then the cycle starts again. I saw the exact same thing for Buddy Hield. Like he starts, plays 10 games where he like shoots the lights out, and everyone just says, "Why did that other team give up on him? He's a beast." And then he goes through his slump, and everyone's like, "What the hell? Get him out of here!"
Mm-hmm.
And then the cycle starts again.
Yep.
So you like Pritchard? I like Pritchard too. I think that's the fact that you got this team that is probably the best roster in the NBA that has the best starting five, and now you're getting the sixth man of the year on there too. Like, I told you they're probably repeating. I feel pretty confident about that pick now. Every day that goes by. Although I really don't like. They lost to Memphis. Do you know how many shots they took in that loss to Memphis?
Oh, they shot 63s, Tom.
They shot 63s. Do you know how many total shots they took?
I want to say 100 almost.
105 shots. 60 were threes, so 45 twos.
Yeah.
They shot 30% from three. They shot 67% from the free throw line. Like it's just. I don't think that's sustainable. That part really, really, really worries me.
Tone, I told you this already, Tone. You and I had this conversation. I don't think Joe Mazzulla is going to rest until he has a game where his team shoots all long balls. Now, I know that that might sound ridiculous, but it's not.
Yeah, there's got to be a put. You think they're going to have a putback dunk and they're going to kick? Well, maybe. I've seen them do that.
How many times have I seen Jason Tatum go down the gut and he's got a layup and he's throwing the ball out to Drew Holiday in the corner? He's throwing the ball out to Derek Lively at the long ball line. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. I'm pretty confident that Joe Mazzulla wants a game where his team shoots 75 long balls and they're 40% from the floor. I think that he wants that. And I don't think that he wants that I think he wants that to prove a point that I know what I'm doing. This is the future of the game. Excuse me, this is the future of the game, and this is what the game is going to look like, and we're going to be responsible for changing the game like the Warriors did. That's what. Yes. Yep. We're going to be responsible.
Listen, I love the three ball, but it's not meant for everybody.
No, it is not, Tone.
Nor is it meant for every possession. It's funny. I know these are kids. I get it. It's a 12 team. We're playing in this tournament on the weekend. Like I said, we went 5-0. We played lights out. But we played the semifinals Sunday morning and then the final Sunday afternoon. The semifinal Sunday morning, they took and missed so many threes. And yes, my offense, as you can imagine, there's a lot of swinging the ball around and we get a lot of open threes. So we take a lot of open threes. However, when we saw the first 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 not go in, and I'm screaming, get to the hoop, get to the hoop, get to the hoop, get some layups, because then once you make a couple layups, the basket gets bigger, right? They didn't. And we win by, I want to say 18 in a game that shouldn't have been that close. The follow-up game, I told all the parents, listen, you're taking your kids and you're not eating fast food, you're not getting fried food, like I gave them a list of what they could do and could not do. And
don't do this, don't do that.
And I said, or you will not play. And so we have the second game and they start making layups. And I keep yelling, make your layups, take your layups, take your layups, go to the hoop, go to the hoop, go to the hoop. We win by 40.
How about that? Imagine that.
Sorry?
Imagine that, Tone.
You going to bed? Okay, good night.
Love you. Hi, nephew.
Yes. I'll come and see you. Say good night.
Good night, Chill.
Hi, nephew.
Yeah.
Chill.
Uncle Chill.
Uncle Chill. All right, Uncle Chill. And the difference was they started going to the hoop early and often. They were getting their layups. And guess what happened? Well, they collapsed in, and now the three ball became a lot easier. And now they started making them, and we blow it in the final. We blow them out by 40. I'm like, guys, see how easy that is? We go to practice. What's the first thing they started doing Monday? shooting the threes. I'm like, no, I want to kill him.
We just went over this. We literally just
kill
went over this.
And that's what I see is I see like we're giving up opportunities to take an easy 2 because mathematically a 3 is worth more than 2. Yeah, but you know what's less than a 2? 0. So if you have a dunk, take it. But anyways, last category, Franz Wagner as the most improved player.
Yeah, he's going to miss a lot of time, Tone. So that's the problem. He's got a torn oblique muscle, so he's going to be out for at least a month, maybe a month and a half, and that's going to be a problem considering the other guys that's in the league right now. Hey, little bit, how are you, dear?
Yeah, Unc.
What's going on?
Good.
What's going on?
How are you?
Good. How are you, dear?
He said he's good. All right, good night.
Love you.
She's way too tall.
She's gonna be a beanpole, Tone. Yes, she is.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, Tone, he's gonna miss. He's probably gonna miss a month, maybe a month and a half or so, because with that torn oblique muscle, I mean, it's not a strain. So, to lose both him and Paolo, that sucks. That really does suck. And
But
I think he's going to eliminate himself because of injury.
What have I told you about Orlando?
You didn't think that they were there yet. You did not.
Not only did I not think they were not there yet, what do I always tell you? What happens in Orlando?
What did you tell me that happens in Orlando?
Well, what happens once a player gets good?
Oh, he gets out of there. Oh, he's gone. No doubt about that. Yeah, he's gone. He's not staying there.
So in this case, now there's injuries, but it doesn't work in Orlando for whatever reason. I wish it did. I want Orlando to be good.
Good team down there, Tone. They got a really good team down there.
I like Orlando. I spend a lot of time in Orlando. I want them to be good. Yeah. I want to go watch a good team.
They got a good team in Orlando, man. They do. I love this kid, Paolo Banchero. I love him. And
I don't see him being out there past the next contract. Let me get to. I want to stick on most improved player. Yep. However, first we're going to take a sidebar because we do have a super chat from Teddy Hart.
Yeah.
And it's a good one. Thank you, Teddy. If Dan Gilbert / Danny Ferry switch places in history with Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause, what effect do you think it would have on the masses' opinion of the GOAT?
Well, number one, Dan Gilbert and Danny Ferry, I think that they married the idea of James being the guy, and we're just going to roll with James as opposed to Jerry Reinsdorf. Jerry Reinsdorf actually listened to Jerry Krause, like that was his guy, and he did whatever Jerry Krause told him in terms of scouting players, in terms of drafting players. That was it. With that being said, Tone, I think that Jerry Krause was more conscious of building a unit around Jordan because Jordan wasn't his guy. Let's make sure we remember that. You and I have had this conversation. Jordan wasn't his guy, but he recognized that he had a franchise player in Jordan, and I got to get guys around him. I don't think that was the case in Cleveland. I think that in Cleveland, they had the idea that, okay, we got this guy. He's going to get us to the promised land, and we're just going to keep rolling with that. However we build this crew around him, I don't really think that matters that much because he's that good. So the effect that I think it would have on the masses, I don't think that Danny Ferry and Dan Gilbert, if they would have done that to Jordan, I don't think he would have stuck around. I don't.
So it's so tough because they played in obviously in different eras. But here's the thing. Everybody gives Jerry Krause a lot of credit for his hits. Right? Now, let's be clear. He did not draft Jordan.
No, he did not.
That would have been Rod Thorne.
Yes, sir. That was Rod Thorne's guy.
So he comes in and they want to give him credit for a draft day trade for Scottie Pippen and drafting Horace Grant. That's really the two big ones, right? Mm-hmm. That's really the two big ones. But he missed on Karl Malone. He could have had Karl Malone in '86. He went with Keith Lee. Yes, he could have had a very different roster makeup. I'm not going to go through it all, but we went and looked at it and saw there was a bunch of misses. He then, because he's so thinks the GM is more important than the players. Like, you see him in the final season sitting in the stands with Tim Floyd, basically telling him, you're going to be taking over Phil Jackson, and I'm getting rid of this team. I'm trading, I want to trade Scottie Pippen for Tracy McGrady, which people go, oh, that's a great trade. No, because Tracy McGrady at that time was not ready to play like that. And then he got hurt. So it could have been a disaster. So let's fast forward and use.
Thank God they didn't do that, Tone.
let's put Jerry Krause in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And what we know about LeBron. Now, we're lucky because it's in retrospect, so we know what we know. You're going to tell me what he would have done was he wouldn't have made trades and brought in older players and what he would have went through the draft. And some of them would have been hits. Some of them would have been misses. Mm-hmm. And how would we have felt? Would Cleveland have won an NBA championship in 4 tries? They only won 1 if Kevin Love wasn't there and instead it was Andrew Wiggins. Because he was the consensus number 1 pick. They weren't going to pick someone else. So if it was Kyrie, Wiggins, and LeBron, would that have been a better team? And I don't think the answer is yes.
Well, here's the thing, Tone, that what we have to do is we got to rewind, because to your point, he would have built it through the draft. Well, if he would have built it through the draft and he would have hit more than he missed, there's no reason for James to leave. James stays.
Okay, so that's great. So if we go back to the James years,
sure.
To LeBron's credit, he had the team winning too many games early.
Right.
And so they wouldn't have so all those draft picks were bad. Like, if you go look at, again, Cleveland's drafts in those years 4, 5, 6 of James being in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Is there ones that he was like, oh, you should have gotten this guy? Now, not in retrospect, when like saying, oh, it was the 18th pick and look at this guy at 37. He became, right. No, you can't do that. You got to look at kind of 2 picks before, 2 picks after.
Right. That's not fair. Sure.
So the team, he would have gone young and tried to pick and stuck with those young guys. He wouldn't have traded them away for vets. Nope. So I wonder how that would have worked with LeBron, who is better with veteran players.
Well,
on the flip side, if I've got Jordan and I'm like, okay, Jordan's good enough, and what I'm going to do is bring in veteran rebounders, veteran ball handlers, in those days, don't forget, where the league was older,
a bunch of grown-ups.
Sure. I actually think, and I'll backtrack in a second. I think that actually works. I think they do okay with Jordan because it was an older league, and bringing older vets around Jordan actually works. Let me fast forward. In the early years of Cleveland, I think they don't have success with Krause and Reinsdorf, but I think later, where there's this youth movement, it actually might work with him having young guys and forcing him to grow with them.
Mm-hmm. So, to be fair, so in '87, when the Bulls got Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, they were 2 lottery picks. They got Scottie Pippen, and they ended up trading for him, and they got Horace Grant at 11.
Yeah.
So and that was a playoff team. That Bulls team was. They were a good team, right? So, and in '88, when they lose in the semifinals to the Detroit Pistons, I mean, they ended up getting Stacey King that year. They had a top 3 pick in the draft that year. They ended up getting Stacey King. But then in '89, they in the Eastern Finals, and they end up with the 17 pick, and they end up getting B.J. Armstrong. So this is what I'm talking about when I talk about, being better at drafting, finding good players. I mean, they found Scott Williams in the draft late in the first round. I mean, I don't think that the winning would have mattered off the strength that you need some luck with that. That's what happened with the Boston Celtics. That's what happened with the Lakers. Your Lakers, Tone. That's how you got Magic. That's how you got, that's how you got James Worthy. You do need some luck to fall in line with that, but you also need some damn good GMing. You need some damn good GMing. And I think that Jerry Krause was smart enough at that time, trading Charles Oakley for Bill Cartwright. I think he could have made some deals where he could have, if we're going to build this thing, okay, we got this kid. We got this 19-year-old kid, because remember, he's also younger than Jordan. So we got this 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid who's awesome, and I'm going to build a unit around him. In the process of me building a unit around him, I'm going to need draft picks. I'm going to get better draft picks by finagling and calling up people. Tone, I had no idea who Scottie Pippen was. So to trade for Scottie Pippen, that was a big deal. So why doesn't Jerry Krause, if he's in Cleveland, and he's got a player like LeBron James, why doesn't he trade for a shooting guard? Why doesn't he trade for a big man? When I got a guy like LeBron James, why wouldn't he trade for knowing Jerry Krause? He'd probably find a way to get David Robinson on his damn roster, some nonsense like that. So I mean, I think it could be really tricky, but I do also think that Jerry Krause would have done a great job with LeBron James.
If he liked him, who knows? He might have ran him out of town. So in I'm not going to do too many of these. I'm just going to I'll do 4 years. 86. I want to say good GMing, right? 86. Yep. He selects Brad Sellers.
Yep. He passed on who? Who did he pass on, Tom?
John Sally, Del Curry. Nothing. Again, I don't go too far because if I can go further. So okay, that's 87. We know that's the year he makes every right move, right? Olden Polynice trades him for Pippen, picks up Horace Grant. That was now Horace Grant was great. I don't know. Reggie Miller went with the next pick.
Yes, he did.
So it's not now he's just a better player than Horace Grant, but not what they needed. So he got what they needed versus what was best for them.
Now, if he's got James at that point, if he's got James and he doesn't have Jordan, absolutely that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to take Reggie Miller if I got Jordan.
The next year he picks Will Perdue.
Yep, from Vanderbilt.
You're leaving Rod Strickland out there. You're leaving Dan Marley out there. Will Perdue.
Which, by the way, Tone.
And I purposely didn't start with the Keith Lee.
Of course. Yeah. And by the way, Tone, Jerry Krause, very much like Magic, said that he made a mistake letting Brook Lopez walk out the door. Jerry Krause said the same thing about Dan Marley, passing on Dan Marley in 88 in the draft. He said
picks up, you mentioned Stacey King.
Yep.
I don't know. Mookie Blaylock would have looked really good in the backcourt next to Jordan. That might have been the best defensive backcourt we've ever seen. No disrespect to BJ Armstrong, but BJ Armstrong was there to pass the ball to Jordan and Pippen. Let's be honest. But if you had I think if you have Mookie Blaylock, like that is what they kind of ended up having with Ron Harper, because Ron Harper, by the time he gets there, is older. His blown out his knees. He can't play offense, but man, he's still big, strong defensive guy. So there's, they also passed on Sean Kemp, Tim Hardaway, Nick Anderson, Dana Barrows. Like, so when we say good GMing, I don't know, like you could have built a real super duper team. Just if you think about it, just from a 4-year stretch, you could have had a team of Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Mookie Blaylock, Tim Hardaway. Like you could, like when you look at Reggie Miller, like you could have had an all-star team. Now, does it work from a chemistry that? Right. So what I say is, yes, he did the right things and they won. But there's a lot. There's a lot when you look at it, say, well. Again, I'm not going to do it now because it takes up too much time. It could have had an even better team. But again, whereas Dan Gilbert and Danny Ferry, I think, did not. Excuse me. Did not do. I've said this many times. I don't think they did LeBron any favors. And I've said this. I would have left too. I would have left Cleveland too. In fact, I wouldn't have even gone back. But that's a whole conversation for another day. All right. So because we just talked about most improved player, and I said I wanted to get back to it. Yep. It's interesting because most improved player, typically what they look at a lot of times is kind of, their growth. Points per game. So I'm just going to throw some up at you. So there's Grady Dick.
Yep.
An increase, as you can see, of almost 10 points per game.
That's usually who it goes to, Tone. That right there. Like take the name Grady Dick off the table and just look at those numbers. And this is what this guy did from year 2 to year 3. That's usually that's usually who it goes to. If you got if your scoring average jumps from what I remember having this conversation with you, Tone, that if your scoring average over the last 10 years, what I've seen, like guys like Brandon Ingram, guys like that, if your scoring average jumps like 5 points, that's usually who they go with. And when you broke down to me what Kobe White was last year, Kobe White should have probably won the most improved player.
Yep.
Now, when I think about what Grady Dick is doing, so we're talking about a guy who his scoring average has more than doubled. That's usually who it goes to when we're talking about being the most improved player.
So I won't go through the whole thing. Let me just go and say this. So you've got Grady Dick almost 10 a game, Christian Braun 8.6 points per game.
Yep.
Dyson Daniels, forget, like, even with the defense, he's also averaging 8 more points per game. That's my pick, by the way. Heck, even James Harden. So this is an interesting one. He's up 5.7 points per game. Do you give it to a guy that was a superstar and then just, had a downturn and then
no?
Okay. Julian Champagne. Shout out to Julian Champagne. 5.2 points per game, his increase. My favorite guy, Norman Powell, Mean Cowell Scout.
That's who I had. That's actually who I had.
9.7 from 13.9 to 23.6.
Yes, that's why.
Now we have already talked about our sixth man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, who's up from 9.6 to 16.4. That's 6.8 points per game.
Now, some people, Tone, just so you know, DeAndre Hunter, he leads all 6 men in buckets. I think he's averaging like 19 a game coming off the bench. I think Peyton Pritchard's in the top 5 of bucket getters. I think it's him. I think it's Hunter. I want to say Desmond Bain. Hunter, Desmond Bain, Pritchard. There's 2 other guys that I've forgotten about, Tone. There's 2 others that I have forgotten about. And with that being said, and I'm not a fan, and we already had him on here, the basketball reference guy.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten a satisfactory answer on plus minus, but Peyton Pritchard, of those 5 guys, Tone, I think he's like a 112 or 115 plus to the rest of them dudes. He's a plus 112 or some nonsense like that. Some nonsense like that.
And my favorite one, O'Shea
Agbaji. That's his name.
Agbaji,
Tone. It took me a minute to figure it out too. It took me a while, Tone, but I got it figured out. Agbaji is his name.
6.2.
I love this kid too, by the way. He's fantastic.
There's so many players. So seeing Franz Wagner up there, I just thought there's so many guys. If that is the criteria, and none of those guys are even in the conversation. So I wanted to throw that out there, that if that's one of the things that they look at, or at least historically, that's what they've looked at.
Yep.
To not look at one of those guys who lead the NBA in their increased points per game. Can we get to my favorite player to beat up on?
Let's do it. Drum roll, please.
I'm just kidding. So Carmelo Anthony, who should never be in a conversation about all-time greats, by the way. Carmelo Anthony is upset.
Yes, he should.
And he feels disrespected that people are comparing Brandon Ingram to him.
As he should.
Why?
Well, first of all
they do is get buckets, right? They don't do anything else on the court.
Well, that's not true, Tone, because Carmelo Anthony did affect winning on some level. Don't forget that Denver team that he was on, it was in the playoffs every year that he was there. Every year he was there, they was in the playoffs. 100%. How often have I seen Brandon Ingram in the playoffs? That's number 1. Number 2, Brandon Ingram stays in and out of the lineup. I think Melo is a better scorer than him. I think Melo is definitely more versatile than him as a bucket getter. And he has proven in the playoffs, to your point about winning. Carmelo Anthony has been deep into the playoffs multiple times, and he's affected the game multiple times in the playoffs. Brandon Ingram has not done that. So I haven't seen Brandon Ingram be that effective. I've seen him as an all-star, sure. I've definitely seen him as a bucket getter, but I don't think that he has the same effect on the game that Carmelo Anthony did. No, I don't.
Carmelo Anthony, other than being, and let's be very clear, the comparison was this. That Brandon Ingram, much like Carmelo Anthony, scores a lot of points. Not that efficient. And it doesn't equate to a lot of wins, especially in the postseason. So I'm going to read you off a list because I like reading you lists. 4, 5, 5, 5, 4, 16, 6, 4, 5, 12, 6, 5, 6. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sorry, 13. Only 2 times did I say a double-digit number, right?
16, I heard.
And 12.
And 12.
Do you know what those numbers were?
I don't.
Those were the games played by Carmelo Anthony in the playoffs each season, which means first round, deep run. 6 games, probably first round, deep run, first round.
Yep.
So no, he's not affecting winning in the playoffs, but he's not because if you're not getting out of the first round, you're not.
Which he ultimately did.
Two deep runs. Now, listen, I'm not saying Brandon Ingram's a better player than Carmelo Anthony. I'm not.
Okay.
But if the comparison was he's a good scorer who's a little bit inefficient, that doesn't lead to playoff wins.
Right.
That's a fair comparison. It doesn't mean that he's better or they're the same or a million other things. It doesn't mean any of those. In my mind, it doesn't mean that. It means, well, yeah, like, if you compare someone and say, oh, look at the way this guy dunks. Man, he's like the modern day Jordan. That doesn't mean he's a better player than Jordan, but he might have like really good hang time or really be, a lot of, poetry in the air. If you compare a guy to Shaq, because the way he posts up, he's a big body that knocks people around. Doesn't mean he's better than Shaq. He might just be similar in this, in certain aspects of it. All of those things, I think people take it, especially Carmelo, because I think his greatness is in question. He's lost his number in Denver. He's lost his nickname in Charlotte. Like, he's losing a lot. We're going to forget all about Carmelo Anthony. If it wasn't for his wife smelling like Cheerios or tasting like Cheerios, we might forget him altogether in New York. And so I can see why he's disrespected. But for anyone else to say, yeah, he's a great scorer who's inefficient, who doesn't win a lot in the playoffs, I think that's a fair comparison.
So Brandon Ingram is in the same category with I'm not saying that he's the same player, but we're going to put him in the same category with James Harden, with Carmelo Anthony, with Dominique Wilkins, guys like that, guys that are inefficient scorers.
If you were to say what type of guy is he, he's like the Timu. Do you know what Timu is?
I do.
Okay, he's the Timu version of those guys. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I understand where Carmelo is coming from. That Denver team was bad when Carmelo got on it. And don't get me wrong, I can appreciate your logic, Tone, that Carmelo Anthony, I mean Brandon Ingram and Carmelo Anthony are comparable, quote unquote, in terms of buckets, even though Carmelo Anthony was 26 a game for 7 straight years. I mean, Brandon Ingram wasn't doing that. Now,
100%. Yeah.
And inefficient as a scorer, I mean, Carmelo Anthony's around a 45, 46% guy from the field, which, okay, when you shoot a lot of shots, sure. I do think that he was a little bit more versatile. When I talk about winning, I talk about a guy getting to the playoffs. Now, when you win the NBA championship, a lot goes into that. It's not just getting there. And that there's a reason why we see so few guys winning NBA championships. We don't see a lot of guys winning NBA championships. There are a few guys who win it, and then there's a bunch of other guys who don't win it. And Carmelo Anthony got caught up, just like Ewing got caught up in the Jordan era. Carmelo Anthony got caught up in the James era, just like Chris Paul got caught up in the Steph Curry era. I feel like Carmelo Anthony got caught up in the James era. That happens to him. But I don't know what era Brandon Ingram got caught up in, because when I look at Brandon Ingram, I look at a guy who, as a bucket getter, sure, he was that. But am I throwing a crew on my back and going, yo, we could win a playoff series with him? We can win a playoff series with him. I saw that with Carmelo Anthony. He was able to do that. He was 100% able to do that. And on top of that, can I throw this? Can we throw a crew on his back and get to the playoffs? Yes.
Carmelo Anthony being in the LeBron era isn't true though, because he was in the West. So there's no reason he wasn't playing LeBron in the first round. There's no reason he couldn't get out of the first round, but twice out of 13 tries. So sorry, I disagree with that part. Brandon Ingram, and again, I'm not saying he equates to winning. However, when you say what era he was in, well, he was in the Los Angeles Lakers horrible era when we transitioned out of Kobe into there was nothingness, and then it was LeBron.
That's when
that's when he was there, right? And then he went to New Orleans. New Orleans? How did he end up in New Orleans?
He got traded for Anthony Davis,
giving up their franchise player.
Sure.
So yeah, they were so them making the playoffs 2 out of 6 years. It's not great. However, he's not the same player. Like I said, he's averaging, I think, 23 plus over the last 5 years. But he's also shooting better, 46%. He shoots better from the 3. So he's actually a more efficient shooter than Carmelo. So like I said, again, my point is not a better player, not going to take you further, not the leader or the guy that can take your team to the playoffs. But if you just said to me, what kind of scorer or player is Ingram? He's kind of like Carmelo, that he can score a lot. It's not that efficient, but he can score a lot, and he doesn't really win in the playoffs. Yeah. Whereas if you said he doesn't get them to the playoffs, then it's not a comparison because Carmelo got them there. He just didn't do anything.
And that's where the divide is.
Maybe that's where the divide is for you. Okay, that's fair. Sir Darko, the third,
not the second, not senior, but the third one.
What's good, y'all? I don't know why I said that so country. What's good, y'all? I hope all is well. In my opinion, a 3-and-D guy is more valuable than a bucket getter because there's more good bucket getters than 3-and-D guys. I'd rather have a Herb Jones than a Levine.
I don't hate that. I don't.
But I really
don't hate that.
So tough. It's so tough because, like anything, it depends. Which bucket getter? Which 3-and-D guy? Right? Like if I got a guy who's going for 25 a night and isn't a defensive sieve, versus a 3-and-D guy, like I don't know who's a
Bruce Bowen.
Oh, I like Bruce Bowen on my team though. Yeah, maybe he's got a play.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of a pure no, but you know what? You're right. If I have to take Carmelo Anthony as my second guy, or Klay Thompson in his prime,
yep,
I'm probably taking Klay if I want to win a championship.
Yes, because Klay fits better.
Not as my number one. Yeah, not my number one, but as I'm
Klay fits better. Sure.
Yeah, I like it. Yes, I agree. There's a thing out there, and I'm going to read you some stats because I love my stats. If I can find them. Here we go. The NBA today is the most efficient it's ever been.
Yeah.
Sabonis, son of Arvidas, 20.8 points per game, 12.7 rebounds, 6.2 assists on 70% true. I'm just going to read the true shooting percentage. People love this true shooting percentage like it's impossible. Jokic at 65% true shooting, Hero 63%, Giannis 63%, Steph 62%, SGA 61%, J-Dub at 60%. Is this the most efficient NBA we've ever seen?
I don't think so, Tone, to be honest with you. I think it's in terms of shooting the long ball, I think it's one of the highest score. I think it's the highest scoring that we've ever seen. But in the words of Kareem, more of your shots will go in if you're closer to the basket. I mean, that's just the way it works. So if I think about what was, even though the 2000s were the slowest era, the 90s were the age of the big man. Also, the 80s were was the age of the high flying scoring forwards. I feel like with this era that we have here, I think we got more guys playing outside of their games than we have guys who are doing what's going to help the team win, as opposed to today where we got a bunch of guys, unlike Tone over here, who can shoot the long ball. Everybody thinks that they can shoot the long ball like Tone. And no, that makes your team inefficient. But then you get guys like Curry and you get guys like you'll have a guy like Curry who'll have somewhat of a slump, and then you'll get a guy like Buddy Hield who falls off a cliff. But then you'll get a guy like Dale Curry, and then you'll get a guy like Dale Ellis who can shoot the long ball but does other things and makes himself effective, as opposed to I'm just going to stand behind the long ball line. Now, Sabonis has been looking at the basket more this year. I've just never been a fan of true shooting, Tone, because again, what it looks like, right? What true shooting looks like is it's 9 for 24 from the floor. It's 3 for 8 at the long ball line and 11 for 13 at the free throw line. Now you're an efficient player, completely disregarding all the bad shots. Of those 24 shots that you shot, how many of them were bad shots? It wasn't the fact of you just missing shots. You missed a lot of you missed a lot of bad shots. So I've never really been a fan of true shooting. Never really been. Mm-hmm.
Is this the era of efficient scoring? And the answer is, based on the mathematical equations that we have, the answer is yes. But that's because efficiency in scoring is highly swayed to the three-point shot, because a three is worth 150%. And so when you have teams shooting 60 times from the three-point line, you're going to have, if they make even if they make an average percent, right? That's why true shooting percentage is so much higher, right? But here's the thing: there's two components to this. So one, more threes equals higher true shooting. Two, let's be honest, we don't play or defend or are allowed to defend like we used to. So when you look at the highest true shooting percentage seasons, you'll see Daniel Gafford at 74%, big man. Rudy Gobert, Daniel Gafford, Mitchell Robinson, Tyson Chandler, that was 11 and 12. Jared Allen, 24-25. Artis Gilmore, good for him, 1981-82. Nikola Jokic, Domantas Sabonis, Artis Gilmore again. Not until you get to number 11, shout out to Kyle Korver at 69, but let's be honest, the volume wasn't there. Rudy Gobert, big man. Jared Allen, big man. Rudy Gobert, big man. Tyson Chandler, big man. Tyson Chandler, big man. Ivic Zubchuk, big man. Shout out to Josh Hart in 2024. Nick Claxton, big man. Wilt Chamberlain. Like, I'm at 20 and it's all with exceptions. Right. So I'm like, what are you telling me? That basically, cool, that if you can make close shots and hit free throws, cool. I knew that. It doesn't move me because it's too biased. And we don't take in any consideration what the defense that they're throwing out at them. And that's my issue. We're not throwing out the defense because it was different. We're not adjusting for pace. There's just so many things. I put in the chat because I know you got to leave in 6 minutes. So am I crazy? Maybe I am.
What up? Yeah, well, yeah. I was saying, am I crazy, man? Can you hear me, or should I talk lower? Or should I talk louder?
You hot.
We can hear you. Yeah. Hot as a firecracker, fam. Hot as a firecracker, fam. Hey, check it out, fam. So you said you a LeBronian? Is that what you said? You like LeBron?
I am. I'm a James guy.
Okay. Cool, fam. You know, I'm old school too, fam. I'm like 43. You know what I'm saying? You a little older. You know. I ain't gonna try to say your age, but you know, it's all good, fam. But at the end of the day, man, you know, LeBron been in the league 23 years, man. So why he only win 4 times, fam? You know, that percentage is ugly over there, fam. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to win in the NBA, brother. It is.
What? Wait, huh?
It's hard to win in the NBA, but
okay. Hold on. It's hard to win the NBA. Okay, so in the last 4 years, it's been 4 different champions, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it ain't that damn hard then, fam. You know what I'm saying?
In fact, that actually compounds the point that it's really hard to win.
Okay. Check this out. Your man said something about playoffs and all that, right? So let's go over LeBron's last 8 years. You feel me, fam? Let's do that. All right, last year.
So wait. I just want to make sure I'm following you. So the last 8 years, that would be what? 17
seasons. Last 8 seasons.
Okay, so like 6.
No, like last 7 seasons. Last 7 seasons. Let's go to 7 seasons.
So 16, 17? Is that where we are? So
yeah, we at 17, okay. Fam. No, we're gonna go backwards, fam. We're gonna go backwards. You wanna go backwards?
Yeah,
I don't know. You tell.
Okay, cool.
I'm following.
All right, cool. All right, 2023. What happened, fam?
2023, they lost in the West Finals to Denver, the NBA champions.
They got swept, correct? Swept, sweep.
They lost. But and just so we clear, let's put some context on it. Let's not just sit. So if it's just that they lost.
I got the excuses. Excuses.
Okay.
Excuses?
All right. Is that what you want to do? No problem.
Yeah.
Fam.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's about to get nasty, fam. It's gonna get real nasty, fam. Okay. You thought all I had was the 4-6. No, I got a lot more than that, fam. I just threw that out there, so you thought I was a casual. No, I ain't no casual, fam.
You sound like
I'm real with this, fam. Okay, look, check it out. Okay, check it out. Okay, what happened in 22, fam?
They didn't make the playoffs that year.
Oh, man, I told my mama I wasn't gonna curse. Oh my God. They didn't make the playoffs. Okay, they didn't make the playoffs. What happened before that, fam? In
21, they lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, who they lose to in the first round, fam?
Phoenix.
Oh, you know your stuff, boy. You're going to get an A in this class. All right, check it out. Check it out.
Whoa. You're not going to dominate the conversation.
Oh, my bad. I ain't trying to do that. My bad. I'm going to play my position. Go ahead. Do your thing, fam.
So we're not going to use excuses, but if you're going to tell a story, tell the whole story. Don't tell some of the story or the part of the story that works for you. So they lost to Phoenix. Phoenix won the Western Conference Championship that year. So keep going.
Okay, cool. You just helped one of my points, fam. Okay, you just helped my point. Thank you for putting your foot in your mouth. Now check this out, fam. Check this out, right? Now, KD ended up going to Phoenix, correct? Now, say if he didn't get traded to Phoenix because they had to give up that whole house to get him. Remember, what if he just threw his butt on Phoenix when he already went to the finals? How good would they be? How many championships do you think KD would have, sir? Just a question.
Are you really going off a hypothetical? That's not actually what happened.
Okay.
You literally just told me. You literally just told me that there are no excuses. Is that correct?
You're right.
Okay,
thank you. So now you agree with me?
So take your foot out of your mouth.
Okay, you agree with me? No excuses, right? You agree with me?
So take your foot out of your mouth.
No, I said, do you agree there's no excuses? No excuses?
I'm just going off what you said. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Okay, so earlier y'all was talking about y'all was saying like their journeys, correct? You said something about the journeys?
Tone, I think it's really interesting that he stopped the conversation.
I want to go back a step. So we started. We said you wanted to go back 7 years.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Okay. No, okay. Wait. Go ahead. 2020. Bubble ring, right? Bubble gum, right? Bubble gum.
So there was a sweep to Denver, didn't make the playoffs. Sorry, sweep to Denver, who won the NBA championship in the Western Conference Finals, didn't make the playoffs. Lost to Phoenix, who's in the Western Conference Finals.
First round loss. Gentlemen, no, 4-2. First round loss to Phoenix, who went to the Western Conference Finals. They win a championship. So then bubble gum. Yeah, bubble gum. Then after that, bubble gum.
Okay, so then the year
which is a narrative, by the way. Which is 100% a narrative, by the way.
Okay, bubble gum. Okay, cool. Yeah, now we're in 2019, fam.
Yep. He got hurt that season.
Huh? Excuse me?
He got hurt that season.
Yeah, that's the season Lakers did not make the playoffs.
He got hurt that season. But
okay, wait. Hold on. You said no excuses, fam. You said no excuses.
Keep going.
Okay, now you want to put some context to that because I remember at the end of that season that he wasn't. Okay, cool. No excuses. Okay, cool. Okay, 2018, fam.
NBA Finals.
Yeah, they lose an NBA championship.
Lose to the Warriors.
They got swept, right? Did they get swept?
Yes, they did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's another sweep. Okay, cool. So now we got 2 sweeps, and 2 not making the playoffs, right? In a bubble gum, right? All right, cool. So what happened in 2017, fam?
They lost in the NBA championship.
Finals.
Okay, what was that? A gentleman's sweep, right?
Yep. They lost in 5
Okay,
games.
all right, cool. And that's the 7 years I want to use. Any questions?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if is that all we're talking about here? We're just talking about.
No. I got more. I just wanted to know if you had questions about that part. Okay, cool.
1 minute left. We have 1 minute left. So
cool. All right. So we all know that Carmelo stole LeBron's rookie of the year, but we gonna leave that as hypothetical. All right, cool. Now you said you was talking about journeys, correct? You was talking about the journeys.
Hold on. Let's be clear. LeBron stole Carmelo's rookie of the year.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. My bad, fam. Good looking, fam. All right. Look, check it out. Now I know you're paying attention. Okay, cool. All right, now check it out. Y'all was saying about the journeys, right? Now, what if you switch their journeys around, Jordan's and LeBron's. Now, say 1990, Jordan goes to almost to the finals, but he loses in Game 7 to the Pistons. Now, say after he loses to the Pistons, he gonna make him a super team, man. How many championships think he gonna get, fam?
He gonna make himself a super team? Is that what you just
said? Yeah. What if he do that?
Wait, that doesn't make any sense, sir. No.
What? That's what everybody else did when they lose and didn't make it to the finals. They lose, they go join another team. Don't they do that these days? Ain't that the thing they do?
So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding you correctly. So Michael Jordan loses to Detroit after losing to them for the 3rd straight year, by the way. Let's make sure we remember that part. Don't leave that part out.
Wait. Are you saying he underachieved? Are you saying that?
Again, we're not making any excuses. I'm sorry for adding.
If he takes Charles Barkley and him and Chuck go down and join Olajuwon in Houston, I love that idea.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Get like a top 5 player and then another top 10. You know, something like that. But we know Jordan was a good father. So what good fathers do, they stick it through, and then they make sure the family get good. They don't just leave. No, wait, hold on, fam. They don't just leave. Where I lay my hats, my home. I'm a Rolling Stone. You feel me? That's what LeBron did, fam. That's what he did, fam. That's what he did, fam. You want to talk about it?
No.
That's what he did, fam. Where I lay my hats, my home, I'm a Rolling Stone, fam. I'm asking you a question. Can I ask you one question before you leave?
You just did. You just asked me a question.
No, let me ask you one question, fam.
One. Go.
Huh? I can't hear you.
One, go.
Okay. Now, when LeBron went to those super teams, did he get traded or did he just go to those teams?
Which one?
His contract.
All of them.
Well,
excuse me?
Hold on, wait.
Well, when he got traded to Miami.
He got traded to Miami.
He did not get traded to Miami.
He did.
He did not.
It's the casual tone. He's a casual. He calls it. He 100%.
How he get traded to Miami, fam? What did Cleveland get?
I'll tell you.
What did Cleveland get? Okay, tell me what Cleveland got, sir.
We got 5 first-round draft picks.
Man, are you crazy, man? You think that little thing is worth LeBron 5 first-round draft picks? Okay, hold on.
So unfortunately, I had to cut him off because we're like 3 minutes over. Sorry, and it's not personal. Come back next week. If you're still listening, come back next week. But yes, he signed a deal with Cleveland. They then traded him. They got 5 draft picks. That's how they were able to build up their team again, and why LeBron came back to Cleveland. And I'm sorry because we are out of time. It wasn't meant to be rude, and I hope you're not upset. Come back next week. We can finish the conversation. This episode is short because we got to go watch Chilltown and the Boys of Players' Choice on Playback TV / Players' Choice. Is that the Playback TV / Players' Choice? What game are you guys doing? It's an in-season tournament, yeah?
Oklahoma City Dallas game.
All right. So in that case, take us home, sir.
Absolutely, guys. It was good to see you tonight. You know me and Tone, we here every Tuesday, and we will be here throughout the course of basketball season and after basketball season, but we will see you soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. I just seen my mother yesterday. Call your mother.
I talked to her today, I promise. Talked to her today.
See you guys soon. Until then, take it light, but take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.